All right. Hey guys, Internet Tomato here, back again. Oh man, so just so you know, I am doing commentary here. I completely forgot to turn on my mic. So you're seeing me play, but yeah, I'm gonna blame it completely on having to do all the blood drive stuff. Okay, I'm using that as an excuse, but I thought that I would go over a little bit of what's going on. So I essentially explained that I ended up increasing the armor for all light armors here, so that's what I did in the city. I'll go over all the equipment. Let's see how fast I can read. This will be interesting. I'm not going to have as much commentary in the fights though. So I did give the Sigil of Malediction to Octavius Remus because this will apply burning, and also I read it wrong last time. It'll apply burning after he receives 3 hits, which is really good. I thought that was when he got 3 kills. It also adds armor and also taunts all adjacent enemies, which is really good because that means I don't have to do like taunt back to back, or maybe sometimes I just want to taunt an enemy. I don't even need to use taunt. So it's very useful. I have the Rune of Medusa, ignoring all block, extra armor break, and also extra damage against Lost in 9th Legion, and I'm fighting Lost in this episode, so it is rather helpful. Same thing with burning. This is actually also good with Lost. It's going to be very helpful. And then also it just makes it a little bit more competent. Then we have the Ring of Patronus with the extra tile range for Block Aura and Testudo, extra armor as always, and then the Kingulum Gemina, always turning at his attacker so he can never be backstabbed, some vitality, some unbreakable armor. I was very tempted to do the charge ability, but I decided against it, which I'm probably mentioning right now. But I decided against it again. I feel like I do that every single time. Man, it's so weird to observe myself. And then, yeah, we have the Sigil of Aquila, making me faster with the Gravitas Rune, +1 soul from slain enemies, extra AP, and also more damage. Cheapening jumping attack. Movement skills can be used for movement AP, more movement AP. It's all looking pretty good. And then, lastly, we have the Vexillum Ratus, which I just remember the name. That it has calling, extra AP, and also Rat Trap. Then we have the Maximus Sigil on Gavius with the extra souls from slain enemies, extra AP, and also more loyalty. With the Mortis Rune, which allows us to cull. That's the important part. Then we gain AP for each kill, more damage against loss, and also extra armor while outnumbered. And then we lastly have the Vanguard's Embraces of Strength, giving better stats to the Doppelgangers. First attack each turn is max damage, and also more max damage. Gavius is looking pretty defensible. Then we have the Angelus Sigil, so this is new. +5 movement AP for the first turn of each encounter, +5 loyalty, and also extra souls from enemies. Which I still do need to have something with extra loyalty for him to gain the benefit of +10% damage. Then we have the Rune of Picus, extra damage against vulnerable, extra damage against bleeding, and also more poison damage. This is useful, but sadly I can't bleed here. Then we have the Seal-Plated Pin of Agility, extra movement points, minus damage received from range attacks, extra damage against unarmored, and then finally the Terrarius Lupinus for extra movement points after using volley, +1 projectile with volley, and ignoring all block. Then for Plutonius, we regain armor at the start of each encounter, so this is new. Gain AP for the first turn of each encounter, and gain 3 movement AP for the first turn of each encounter. I wanted to do something different, and also the old one was so, like, not that useful. Then we have the Sanguis Rune, making our ultimate stronger and more expensive, but also giving us +2 action points. And then the Agile Amulet of Readiness, extra movement, gain damage for each kill, and then also we take half damage from Overwatch and opportunity attacks. And then the very last one, Vigorous Fibula of the Sharpshooter, extra damage while far away, more vitality, more mental debuff, resist, going into the Whispering Crypts, which, by the way, this is the only mission available. Fanatics, even the mention of those degenerates sends a chill down my spine. Why does every evil prophecy have to be followed by an army of idiots who want to be sacrificed for some ancient demon? Well, it is what it is. We just have to stop them before anything happens or awakens or blows up. We can't have that, Tribunus. Yeah, it is crazy how close we are to the end. It's possible this is the second last mission, which is just nutty. I mean, maybe third last if this, you know. I won't spoil it. Just because. But this was an interesting mission, but you'll see why very soon. I don't know if it happens immediately. Yeah. Balin is here. This is the one I have to kill. Balin, Sir Bruno Lenoir, Damas, and Tagir. Like, these guys, well, I mean, Damas and Balin were like my main guys in the main campaign, so it was kind of crazy to then have to fight them. That was pretty nuts. But yeah, I'm probably not going to do too much commentary here because I don't know when I'm going to make what decision. I'm not going to be able to remember every turn. So I'm probably going to dip in and out when I think that, you know, I can add something. But what I noticed immediately is that on the left side, you can't go beyond there. I double check with Gaius. So I was like, well, this is probably a time where there's so many enemies. I can probably use Palisade and be able to block an area off. And if I do that, then more than likely I'm able to just funnel them in and use Octavius Remus to do the funneling. But then it's just the question of trying to figure out who I want to kill first. And I need to make sure the guy in the back does die because he can't be back there with us. Which, by the way, this was an episode where the Palisades were used pretty regularly. And yeah, it was very helpful. But yeah, there's not too much to add there, so I'm going to go for a bit. I gotta say, also, hey again, that I really did luck out with all the culling stuff because that does make this far easier that Gaius has that ability. I mean, same thing with Gavius, because he can just run in and cull, so I don't have to think at all about the annoying reanimation of all the lost. Which, by the way, kind of a side note, I have been considering doing the challenge runs in the main game, like the challenge fights, because they have that. I don't know. I might consider at some point. Maybe if I run out of stuff to do, I might just do that for fun with you guys. Because some of them are crazy hard, crazy difficult, rather insane. Yeah, and here's the Palisade. I was trying to decide where exactly to put it. Also, I did realize something, which I was gonna say my guy's gonna mention, but I'm gonna mention, which you can't hear, is that I realized that Gavius with his spectral presence is so nice because he can just use that and he can run back and forth between the Palisades, which is really good whenever I am trying to make a bottleneck, because Gavius can just run through the Palisades, get a kill, and run back whenever he wants. And then so it's like he's just behind enemy lines. Place.
The Imperator is my shield.
Yeah, I did not expect that they'd just be... Well, I should have imagined that they were going to attack the Scorpio turret, but it kind of slipped my mind. And then on top of that, they just completely avoided the trap, which I guess isn't a huge deal, but it was a little bit annoying. That also, this guy too, he was turning the wrong way, So the trap was just like a really big miss at that point
Who do
because
you want dead?
it was really annoying for Gaius, and it didn't even help me. So that was quite unfortunate. And then I'm just trying to figure out what to do then, because it's like I can't deal too much damage with Florianus, so it's like I should probably just destroy the corpse. That's kind of what I was thinking. You can do a little bit of damage, but you know, it's rather minimal. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I thought I attacked the corpse. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, and I think I do the trick with Gavius here with the Palisades because it felt like it made the most sense. Because, right, he can just run out and in, and it is just really useful.
Yeah.
Alright, so another one down. Yeah, this actually turned out to be a lot easier than I first expected, which I don't know, maybe without the Palisades it actually would have been difficult. Because it really was just completely surrounded by these guys, but having that ability to just make it a bottleneck was really nice. And I'm able to just get rid of the pikemen as I so choose, since they're all taunted. Then right guys can just be right in there, so it's like it's very clear it's about to end, which is so, you know, it's obviously so nice, especially when such little amounts of damage have been taken by my guys. It's always so pleasant. Also, by the way, something I have noticed when I do play these games is that it's almost always exactly an hour. Like, have you guys noticed that? There was one, I don't know which 2 episodes, but 2 of the episodes were like 1 second different in terms of how much time it takes, which is pretty crazy.
Blame it on the gods.
Yeah, also he ran out of spectral presence, so I couldn't run through the Palisades. So I had to destroy the squire. The corpse squire?
I pity you.
Yeah, whatever. The pile of bones in order to reach the souls. Unlucky me.
The Tribunus sends his regards.
Yeah, and also at first I was worried it was gonna be a pretty long fight or long mission because there's several places to go. There's 5 of them. Which eventually I did have a couple of mini heart attacks in play because I thought something had happened. This was actually a pretty good fight, by the way. I enjoyed this one a lot. Yeah, it was a cool idea with the shields. So yeah, you can't run through them. However, something I learned very quickly that just like, you know, I thought about it, but then it slipped my mind, was that Gavius can run through with Spectral Presence, which is cool. Then also he can jump through with Ghost Attack, which right there I was kind of like thinking, yeah, I could go through. Could I just jump in? But yeah, I did like that because it does add a pretty cool dynamic, especially with Gavius's attacks. They should have done a few more like this, I would argue, in the campaign. You know, those things that just add a little bit more of a wrinkle. Like this one in particular, I thought was a cool idea. But yeah, you have to kill both defenders in order to get rid of both of the shields, both of getting rid of those walls, whatever. The magical stuffs. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah, I decided that I was gonna have to just kill one of the defenders first. And then once I got rid of one of the defenders, I would figure it out. But I also realized something crazy in a moment here, which probably once I attack, I probably realize afterwards. Just counting it out, realizing I can't quite kill him. I'm just running back and forth with Borealis. That is kind of funny that that's what you kind of need to do with that guy. Also, what is nice with his extra movement points is that I kind of have choices of when I want to do, when I want to use momentum, because the second round, in my view, is probably a lot better than the first round. Because in the first round, the only difference I'm going to be getting is one additional projectile, while in the second round, it's going to let me do an additional attack, which I think is a lot more useful at that point.
From the bowels of hell.
So what I'm about to realize,
I know no mercy.
probably 2 seconds or 5 seconds, is that I realized, okay, so the enemies cannot reach me, right? Because they can't get past the wall. So what's really interesting is, well, what is their range? Which I think I'm checking right now. Yeah. Because that I counted out, okay, so they could get a little bit closer. If you just hide by the pillars, nobody can attack you. No one can even reach you except like in that corner, the far pillar. So I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I mean, maybe it would have been too difficult to give the crossbowman 8 range. But sadly, Gavius kind of had to just suffer through because I already had him activate. And it was like, okay, use a momentum to hide in the corner or not. Because if I did that, then he's essentially done. Like, that's his round. So it's like, that doesn't really make too much sense. So I just hit everyone back there. So I did like that aspect too, because it's kind of, again, it's like a puzzle. And I think that that's what makes this game so much fun, is the puzzle part. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. But of course, we lost all of our action points anyway. Everyone got hit by that. So she had a massive cone that just made all of us have a pretty bad round. So she could reach us, but yeah, you know, it couldn't be perfect, I guess.
It's my turn again?
And then this is when I'm realizing, yeah, so Gavius can jump in there if I want to. But Gavius doesn't have to jump in there. Yeah. Also was, yeah, I had a little bit of a mix-up with the Unholy Chain at one point, which I have realized has happened a couple of times. It's hard to, like, remember everything when playing. Yeah, and also, by the way, look at my souls. It's already pretty much maxed. It's very close. I don't know what it is at, like 75 or something. Oh, it's 77. Yeah, it says it on the bottom. Yeah, I didn't even realize that till now. But yeah, it's already almost maxed, which is actually kind of crazy how fast that happens.
What is your command? Oh, we just want to steal your souls.
So as you can imagine, I'm trying to figure out how to deal just enough damage to cull him. As it's, you know, it's very difficult to try to figure that one out. Also, it is kind of funny to see Gaius as well as Florianus having the double momentum problem, where they're losing 6 AP now, which is actually pretty nuts. Yeah, so now I'm trying to figure out how much damage I need to deal. I'm trying to deal as much as possible.
I am ready.
But I don't actually remember if I can reach it. Yeah, it's very close. I probably took the risk, knowing me. I mean, statistically, he ought to die. If I roll minimum, then no, but luckily I did not roll minimum, and it worked out. But yeah, many times you can't really tell. And then at this point, I realized that a lot of the archers are not dealt with. Florianus can deal with the Arbalist and the Banshee kinda by being adjacent, so may as well do doppelgangers. I mean, it does take out the vast majority of the souls that I have remaining, but I mean, at this point, it felt so easy that it's like, well, how about I just don't die? Or don't take damage. I don't want to risk it. And also, in the back of my mind was still Balin and Damus. I wasn't sure what was going to happen there, because I also didn't know how they were going to outfit Damus, because the way I outfitted him in my game, he was insane. Originally, I'm assuming a lot of you did watch that series, but originally I thought that when I first got Damus way back in the day, I thought they was pretty awful. And then I was like, you know what, maybe there's a way to make this work. And, you know, I figured it out, and I was so proud of myself that it worked out. Which, I mean, it wasn't like anything, you know, mind-bendingly like strategic, but, you know, I did feel good about that. And then he became the new Balin, which was a lot of fun. But yeah, now I'm just trying to figure out the best position to get to the Banshee. The Banshee as soon as possible. Yeah, I had nothing to do, so there's a trap. So you never know. Also, I did realize, I don't know if it was in this fight or another one, that the doppelgangers, they last for 2 rounds, and since they can't die in the first round, they're essentially invincible in like for both of the rounds that they're there. So it's like it doesn't really matter what the enemy does to them, which is actually, I mean, it's kind of nice. Yeah, so now is the problem that I had used momentum and that kind of stuff, so I wasn't as effective. But I knew I was going to be down to the wire with getting rid of the Banshee. Because I don't have that many action points, and that's like 420 health right there.
We roam as demons.
And also, I'm pretty sure that she's immune to bleeding. So since she's immune to bleeding, Gaius doesn't deal nearly as much damage. Which is a little bit of a pain. Which was actually a pain this entire mission. Yeah, she is so close to death. And sadly, I don't think I had anybody that could actually attack her. So I was like, well, I'll just defend with him. And he'll just get in the way. That's pretty much what I had decided. Because there was just nothing I could really do. And it worked out really easily. Then it was just, hey, let's try to get as many souls, because this has been rough. And I'm calculating that Gavius can, in fact, cull her alone, so he doesn't need anybody's help. So that meant that everybody else can focus down on the undead, like the corpses, which might not have been actually a wise move, because more than likely I probably should have just had what's his face, Plutonius, get the kill, because Gaius could have helped a lot with getting rid of these, because he could have teleported out. But I was not thinking it through. So, sadly,
I'm rooting for you.
wasn't too effective because of that. And since it was the last round, I may as well use momentum.
Who do
Which I'm pretty
you
sure I
want
do.
dead?
Thought I did. Oh, that was dumb of me. I think. Yeah. Yeah, then I couldn't reach the last one.
For the 9th Legion. We fought and they died. The joys of plunder. I smell magic.
And as usual, always goes to Gaius. Because, like, every single one of the possible buffs is more beneficial. And this was my first heart attack. Kind of, which you'll see in a moment. But yeah, that's a lot of skirmishers. Well, it was a mini heart attack, but I realized that the other enemies are seen, and then I could tell that all 5 of the knights are going to be in one fight. So I knew that was going to be really hard. But then I was really worried that since I can observe them, that more than likely I'm going to be stuck in this fight, because that's happened before. I forget if it was in this campaign or if it was in King Arthur. I think it was in this one. I don't know. It really is hard to remember because, you know, it's the same game, different campaign or whatever. But I was very worried about that. So I was like, well, let's just see what happens. I was just trying to play through. This is another situation where it keeps on happening, where they're doing the resistances, which is very annoying. I gotta say, whenever they do increase everyone's resistances, because that does just knock out a lot of the abilities that you can do. I don't like when games do that, where it's like, hey, you have a cool ability, but the enemy's ability is that you can't use your ability. I mean, occasionally that's fine, but when it happens all the time, it's like, well, why do I have it? Occasionally, okay? Occasionally it feels that way. Not always. But luckily in this one, there's only one boss, which is the Banshee. However, they still have too high of resistances. But the interesting thing that I had learned in the past is that if Plutonius is able to put necrosis, which yeah, I think I get the kill here. Pretty sure. I think so? Pretty close. What do I do? He needs like a touch. Yeah. Yeah, so what I had learned is that, right, if Plutonius is able to double necrosis the skirmishers, that means that I am able to do Unholy Chain. So that's me realizing they're at exactly 50. So since I can't attack twice unless I use momentum, it's like, well, if I just hit them, then if I do Desecration on a different one, then... Oh, I did it anyway. Well, that was stupid of me. But yeah, I must have done it in a different fight then, where I did the Desecration and that. Yeah, that was dumb. I should have just done Desecration instead of just removing 2 or 3 armor.
Who do you want dead?
But lo and behold, the failure of mine. By the way, I am curious how you guys like or dislike the commentary. Because if you dislike it, it'll never happen again. And maybe I will just be mostly, just leave it mostly silent. Like if this was to happen. But who knows? Maybe you even enjoy it. Yeah, so I did the same move with the Palisades because I thought that I'm able to kite the skirmishers on the right there. Because they're kind of like just slow enough that they can't attack. While the ones on the left, they're going to reach. And yeah, that seemed to be the optimal spot to put the palisades. Because if that wasn't, if I put it anywhere else, then they'd all just funnel down the middle.
Who dies or lives.
Or on the outside, right? Because then they could have taken either route. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe actually putting it on the left side would have been okay. Service. Yeah, it might have been, but I don't know the order of enemies, like when they go. So that would have been the concern. Because if they're kind of like bunched up in the middle, that means the ones on the outside and the right would have went around and didn't attack. But there we are, kind of stuck. I immediately did the necrosis, immediately did the death X, because that was the whole point of it. And it actually worked out really well, because then I'm able to get this side just destroyed instantly. And then all I have left is the area where we have them bottled in. I don't know if I would have done that if I was to do this again. I think I do get the kill, but I think it is kind of close. So I don't know if I would have taken that risk a second time. Yeah, and I have learned that just using momentum in round 2 does seem to be the way to go. Yeah, and the rogue isn't quite gonna be dead, but yeah, now he for sure is. Yeah, so it worked out really well. Now, sadly, I don't have taunt, and also they're, well, I guess I can't taunt them anyway because their mental resistance is too high. But at the end of the round, right, they would be taunted if they could be, but they can't because of Octavius's ability. Yeah, also I decided to be greedy, but it worked out, apparently. So now I'm calculating if I can get this kill. Because all I have to go on is Gaius and Octavius. I was going to say, no backstab damage? Yes. So I must have rolled really high there. So after seeing that fight, I was like, there's no way I'm going to be fighting those guys anytime soon. They are going to be last. I want to go everywhere else before I do that. Campsite. There's zero chance. Is the soul of war. Also, luckily we did have the healing site. I probably should have just used it right then, because Plutonius was already too low. Probably shouldn't have been the risk. I was debating going because since it was the final objective, sometimes it just ends it right there. But I was like, well, what are the odds of that? Probably low. So I decided we'll just do the fight. Also, when I first saw him, I thought that it was Arthur. So again, I was panicking. So there were a few of those, but luckily not. It's just a large skirmisher. Yeah, this one, I don't even remember how I handled this. Oh, now I do. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, so I had to deal with the return first. As I was thinking, as long as he goes down, you know, I can probably figure something out. Because you have the archers in the back, you know, I might be able to do it in such a way that the skirmishers can be dealt with. Like the lost skirmishers on one of the sides. And then, yeah, me going back, forth. And also I was trying to figure out if I wanted to use the Scorpio at all, but yeah, if I can put it on one side, I might be able to deal with the others, like the ones in the corner. Then it was like, well, yeah, we have to get rid of all these stone shells. hoping for more armor
Death
break.
conquers
But
all.
yeah, that does knock out a lot of armor, which is really helpful for Gaius, so he doesn't have to do it. I mean, kind of really helpful. It's pleasant for Gaius. But luckily, Invocation of Mars does remove a lot of armor. It increases armor break really high. And then I realized, oh yeah, I can probably kill him. So thankfully, it didn't continue. Because if it did, I mean, I was thinking about it at the moment. It was like, all I really have is Octavius and Plutonius to do anything. You know, I mean, I probably would have been able to get some Palisades down because I have 2 action points after getting a kill with
Place
Gaius.
for fools to kneel.
But man, that would have been pretty rough. It really would have, you know, been rather sketchy. So luckily, just get rid of the main guy and it worked out.
A bloody chest. I need no riches. I need
yes.
more death.
Needs more death. Yeah, I was also a little bit panicky there too because I was worried I was about to run into the knights. So I was like, nope, this is not the knights. Good. Because I wanted to save them for last, but it worked out. Oh yeah, this fight. They should have done more things where you just have to click a button. Yes. Yeah, this one was an interesting one as well, trying to figure it out. Which also, it is kind of fun rewatching it and trying to think, you know, what could I have done differently that would have been wiser? Because we're completely surrounded by revenants, right? I can't do anything to them because they all have resistance, so she has to go down. Right, I've determined that immediately. And what I'm envisioning is having a palisade on the right side there. That's what I'm thinking. Is having a palisade on the right side. I can get everyone in the corner, but the problem is that the revenants just deal damage. So if I do this, that means that Gaius is going to have to kill the Banshee very quickly. And then on top of that, he's going to have to do the palisade. And then everyone else is going to have to deal with the 3 revenants behind, while Octavius is going to be in the front taking a ton of guaranteed damage, because revenants, right, at the end of their turn, they deal like 10 damage to you or 5 damage to you or something. So it's like I was calculating a lot in this one, because I needed to be sure that Gavius has enough action points to run away. Because if that's the plan, I don't want him to be taking the guaranteed damage as well. I'd rather it just be, you know, 1 or 2 people.
For the 9th Legion.
So I essentially decided I'll just use the momentum to run out of there, but only if everything worked out. Because if it didn't, then there was no point. I guess I could have just done the ghost attack, though. That probably would have been wiser now that I think about it. But I didn't, because I'm unwise. Then also, Florianus had so few spaces to run back and forth. A minimal amount, but yeah, then I was trying to figure out, okay, which enemy should have this adjacent to them? I don't know if I would choose that one. Did I choose that one? Okay, I wouldn't if I could do it over. But, oh well, doesn't really matter. Did I do it? Man, I don't know. It's inefficient, right? That's the toughest thing. Because you just do something inefficient that's slightly more beneficial, just go in. And I just went in. And then I realized really quickly that she actually... She's taking more damage than I expected. Again? So I then knew Gaius can totally get the kill. And more than likely, I'm going to have enough action points. Again, I'm not behind her as much as I wanted to be. I realize I'm going to have plenty of action points that I'm going to be able to get other kills. Because I'm going to be able to use momentum. Yeah, there's me calculating
this is going to hurt a bit.
I also realized I made a mild mistake. Because somebody else should have attacked her. And then I would have had one more attack off. Or left. And Gaius has just enough to be able to get a kill.
Death is the only way.
And also do the palisades and like move enough to do so. And then yeah, it was tough because I had to calculate, okay, if I kill him, can I reach? And I decided probably not. Yeah, and I'm able to just run away. Which I shouldn't have done. I should have done the ghost attack there. Because then Gaius wouldn't have had to have used his action points for it or his momentum. Because he's going to have to use his momentum to use the palisades. Which I completely forgot about. You know, at the time I was like, oh, wait a second, why do I have no action points? But yeah, that would have been a lot wiser. Because then Gaius, right, he would have been able to save his momentum. And also do some rat traps, probably. Yeah, yeah, that's definitely a movement AP. Why did I think I could use palisades? Oh me, oh tomato. Yeah. I decided to push it back one more, which probably is smart.
Death is the only way.
Yeah, and I realized for him he can get one more attack off, but then he's gonna have to sprint away. Like he can barely reach. But even that is risky. Man, poor Octavius. Always having to take the brunt of it. As I realized, if I'm just out of reach, that means they're probably going to be going to at least attempt to be adjacent to the group. Which isn't a good thing. But I can still get a trap off with Gaius. So, since I used momentum, which I wish I didn't, I wanted to get rid of the debuff from it. And I think I must have forgot about the rat trap, because I really ought to have used that rat trap. I think I was too nervous even if I slowed them, they might still be able to reach them. I think that's what I was thinking. But it turned out they didn't even do that much. They just went adjacent to him.
I, Hercules.
But yeah, look at all the damage taken. Thankfully, I think it's actually 5, which I didn't know. I didn't remember how much damage it was when I was playing this, because I thought that it was 10. So it was like, but that would have been brutal. Then all of a sudden take, what is that, 70 damage on Octavius, because that means he's half dead immediately. That would have been really scary. Yeah, so I was trying to decide which 4 I should hit. Because I can technically choose. As long as I put it in the right spot. Which both are valid, I think. What did I do? It is kind of funny to watch, I gotta say. Yeah, 2 and 2. That's what I do. Well, I say that as I just do it. It's like I'm commenting on somebody else playing the game. Yeah, I think that would be my plan. I think that makes sense, and then I do it. It's like, yeah, well, that would make sense because it's me. Yeah, and I always forget that they're, you know, immune to all my buffs to attack and stuff. Because they're undead and annoying. Or are they undead? I don't remember if the Revenants are technically undead. And they're just poison immune, it says. I thought that they were bleeding immune too, though, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. And luckily, since I have the shields, it's kind of okay. It doesn't really matter too much where Gaius goes. And what I'm trying to do is make it perfect. Was he bleeding? I don't know. I think I attacked too fast. But I was trying to make it perfect that one hit would cull, but that guy was not going to happen. I could jump in, and I think I decided to, yeah. Because the problem with him was the armor.
Nice day for their funeral. Tartarus is nice. You shall see.
Yeah, and he could still get an attack off. Since he has special presence, he's still defensible.
Bow to Orcus.
So everything, you know, all the positioning is fine, except the only problem is the one closest to Florianus and Plutonius could decide to break away and go after them. That was like the main concern at this point, because that's the only guy that could be a big old problem. But sadly, he's a little bit on the hard side to kill, but thankfully, he had his back towards Octavius. Which I don't know why he did that, but he did. I'll take it.
Bow to me.
But yeah, and now the other 4 are sandwiched between 3 characters that are all defending. So it makes it a lot easier. Yeah, and then the one that's closest to Plutonius. Yeah, the one that's closest to Plutonius, he wouldn't run around there, or it's very unlikely that that was going to happen. Yeah, and then
Rex Infernus, take me higher.
Yep. Yeah, very close to a kill.
Now you die.
Wanted to make sure that you could do the jumping attack, so I get more action points. But sadly, I don't have enough attacks with Gaius alone to get the kills, so I have to figure out how to manage this. I mean, it's not like a terrible situation, of course. But yeah. You get a singular attack off. I should have done Desecration on the guy in the middle immediately. But I didn't. Which I don't know how much it even would have helped. And also, I think that was stupid of me. But I realized all I got to do is just get 1 kill with the other 2, and I was, like, worrying too much. Yeah. Because I can just go for the other guys. Yep. Dead. For whatever reason, it was harder to click the enemies in this fight. I have noticed that on a few of the maps. Another relic, which is pretty sweet. And then we just had 1 more fight.
A perfect campsite. Look! Look! Orders? Filling the Legion's coffers.
It's actually more entertaining than I thought it would be to watch.
We gather over a chest like thieves.
Like, I haven't really watched my gameplay before. Like I just haven't. So it is kind of funny to watch it. Study, analyze my ineptitude.
Shoulder to shoulder, brothers.
Yeah, this was nerve-wracking, but thankfully, Balin was the closest. My old friend. Yeah, so with Balin being the closest, and more than likely the most deadly, I decided, okay, like, if somebody has to go, he's got to go. Then I also was looking at the mental debuff resists of everybody, trying to see if anyone can connect. The only one was Balan and Damus, but the thing is they weren't going to ever be within 6. So I could have sprinted and it would have been close, but I didn't think I could connect them. Or at least thought it was very unlikely. But then I was like, oh yeah, I completely forgot. Death Hex lowers mental debuff resist by 20%. Like an idiot. That's what I thought, but that's incorrect. So you're gonna see me make a very stupid move. Because I was like, oh well, I'll just do the death hex on one of the guys, and then I can connect Balan and them, and then they're just dead. But sadly, no. Yeah, I was calculating it out, making sure that I can connect with the unholy chain, which I could, in theory. But sadly, I was being dumb because unholy chain is the one that lowers the debuff resist, not necrotic whatever. What's it called? Death Hex, not Death Hex. So I just wasted it essentially. But at least Balin is easier to kill. We have the vulnerability that he completely ignored. But it did deal some damage, so I guess it was worth it. Sadly, Balin dodges half the attacks, which was pretty obnoxious. But at least I guaranteed the second hit, because that's how it works in this game, is if it is literally every other attack. I think it might be different like per character compared to total hits. Like it might be 50-50 per character compared to 50-50 of all hits that they receive. I actually don't know. I might have to run some tests to know for certain. Or like just watch this carefully to know, because Gaius just got a hit, so that means the next time he attacks has to be a miss. Or this has to be a miss from his volley. Yeah, so last one was dodged.
Legion.
Yeah, okay.
Bad omen, yeah.
So it is every other of the attacks, and not every other per character. I wasn't too sure, because for whatever reason I thought that it was wrong once. But also I do know that sometimes
I decide who dies or lives.
like there can be an ability that increases dodge by a percentage.
I am ready.
And sometimes the percentage is less than 50, where it's like 45, or higher than 50, where it's like 60 or something. So when that odd situation occurs, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. Because then the math is a little bit off, and I don't know how they even calculate it at that point. It's the same thing with like blindness. When you have a 43% chance to hit or something, it's like, because they don't actually roll, right? It is something where it's like, well, if you miss, you always hit. So I don't know exactly what the pattern is for very strange percentages in this game. Yeah, I decided I was going to block off one of the sides, but I can't block off the right side all too well, I realized. I decided to do it anyway, but they can still get through. Which, in retrospect, that was just stupid. It was just a waste. They should have done it on the left side. Would have blocked the attacks, and then it would have been a lot wiser. Then also on top of that, I could have used Gavius in the future to use his ghost attack.
From the bowels of hell.
Right, I could have just walked up to the palisade, ghosted into Damus, and then the other three would have had to, run through. Probably would have been a lot wiser.
It's my turn again?
I hunger blood.
Also, this is one where Tagir had an interesting idea. You'll see in a moment. It's very interesting.
For Sula.
Completely unexpected. Yeah, luckily these guys weren't as deadly as I was worried that they would be. I mean, maybe it's because I got rid of Balin, but maybe not. I didn't look at Balin too much. Yeah, that was... I should have gone to the side one. If I had gone to the side, I might have been able to hit all three of them. But, I mean, all I would have done is got rid of one armor piece. So it would have been too big of a deal.
Tartarus is nice. You shall see.
I decided to just use the ability, because this is the last fight. Like, what's it matter using all my souls if I wanted to? Because I think I technically could have killed Balan without using hack and slash, but it was just like, well, whatever. But yeah. At this point, I was treating the fight as, oh, this is easy. Tagir is just going to jump in. Hopefully he'll just attack the thing in front, my Scorpio. I didn't want Gaius to be attacked. But I wanted him to be close enough to run in. Also, luckily these guys can actually be poisoned. For once, I'm able to do all the bad things. But yeah, watch Tagir. And Damus, by the way. Tagir literally moved back and forth. He literally walked one space one way, one space at the other. And then Damus used his silencing shot on the Scorpio. It was embarrassing for them, I gotta say. I think this is where I was making fun of the AI a fair bit here. Because that was just so stupid. That was the dumbest thing imaginable. Move back and forth and silence the Scorpio. That doesn't even do anything.
Rex Infernus, take me higher.
Brunor was the only one putting up any kind of a fight, but it's one guy. Like, what's he gonna do? Now I could run through and get a hit with Gavis. That's all I can do. Yeah, I was trying to figure out where to place him to be helpful in the following round.
A nice day for their funeral.
Yeah, and I realized that I was either going to have to use momentum or culling, or hack and slash to get the kill more than likely. Maybe technically I didn't have to do it, but it would have been really down to the wire. So it was like, we have all the souls. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I made sure that he only ignores the first attack each round. That he counterattacks the first attack each round. Because I was like, oh yeah, then Gaius will just go in and make an attack.
Yes, this is me.
But I forgot he also dodges. So, oh well. Not all too helpful. Yep, and then just the last two. Damus. It was really good in that one run. Which, by the way, it is kind of crazy. Do you know what is actually nuts? I'm probably never going to play with Damus ever again for the rest of my life. You want to know why? Because the only way I do that is if I play this game 4 more times. I've already played it 4 times. Am I going to play it 4 more? I can't imagine. So isn't that weird to think about, like, with like time? Because it's like, yeah. Like that part of my play style is done. I will never use Damus again for the rest of my life. I'll probably do the other playthroughs on the channel maybe at some point, but Damas is gone. Crazy. And he was so good, too. Solid. Fantastic. If I am to do another run, by the way, in this, more than likely I'm going to be making it that Balin is banned.
From the bowels of hell.
But that would be a huge challenge if I banned Balin. Also, I did this a little bit wrong. I could have killed him that round, but I did it wrong, and so I just delayed the end. Poor guy. And I realized I should have done volley, or yeah, volley.
Die.
Keeps dodging.
I know no mercy.
He can't reach. Yeah, there we go.
The Legion's Aquila stands tall.
And we did it. Another success. We got them all. But you know what's insane? There was like nothing here.
I need no riches. I need more death.
He needs more death. Gotta give it to him. But yeah, there was nothing here. It was just a few dollars. Absolutely not worth the fight at all. Because if you didn't even get anything, I really expected there to be some kind of a chest. But luckily we got 2 relics here. The rare ones were pretty lame. I was very like, you know me. That's how I react. Okay, so this one was interesting. -1 AP cost for range skills to a minimum of 1. +1 tower range for range skills. Scorpio turret deals more damage and has more health, but its range is reduced, and then also the cooldown is decreased. That's really interesting. Like, it's a very different play style all of a sudden. Because if all my ranged abilities have 1 AP cost cheapened, that is really interesting. Sigil of Liar. Allies within 3 deal 3 extra damage per hit, extra armor, and then also extra tile range for Mental Guard. So that's actually good, but Plutonius Nerva's armor is actually not half bad, so it's hard to decide. I made a mistake here, but it's not a big deal. Well, kinda. I should have done the I have no objection. After everything I've done for the 9th Legion, now I want to claim my share of glory. Nova Roma needs a spiritual leader who handles all matters of faith without oversight or intervention. There's no other way to show true power to the Avalonians. I want to be named Pontifex Maximus, the head priest of Orcus. My inauguration must be held in the city. So, yeah, I didn't think about this all too much. But yeah, I ended up doing the lecture one, but I'm pretty sure the I have no objection gives a benefit to all demonic heroes. Maybe I go over it another time. I don't know. Maybe I don't. Yeah, demonic heroes, because that actually would have been beneficial, because that would have meant that Gavius doesn't have to have his axe, because he still does. And yeah, Fomorian King. So. We're fighting Brez or Baylor or something. I don't know. Well, we'll find out. I haven't played the fight yet, so I don't know yet. But yeah, that was a mistake by me, because yeah, that would have been nice, because then I would have had more variety, or maybe I could have taken a different weapon with Gavius, but it doesn't matter. We have the Rune of the Spear. So this is new. Extra damage reduction. Well, kind of new with the poison. We've seen it before. Ignore half of armor break. Damage from overwatching opportunities halved. Extra vitality. That is the worst relic I've ever seen in my life, by the way. Horrendous. And then improve Hadrian's Wall, which I never use, so what's the point? And that's a good one, the Vexilum of Valor, to make the first attack 0. And then extra damage for allies, but you can't compete with culling. And then, yeah, Relic Dust, so there's not too much to really work with there, sadly. But yeah, I am ending it in 9 seconds here. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Please consider subscribing if you have yet to do so. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. See you later. Bye-bye.